Dear students, welcome to your first Lithuanian class. My name is Paulius, I'm a Lithuanian tutor, and I would like to help you learn Lithuanian. Lithuanian is not a very easy language, but it's a very rewarding one. And today we're going to start quite slow. We're going to learn some basic phrases, basic hellos, basic goodbyes, some other useful phrases as well. We're going to speak about pronouns, the conjugation of the verb to be, a little bit about gender, nationalities, just to get a feeling of the language a little bit. And if you're interested in learning Lithuanian in a more structured way, you can always join my private or my group classes. At the moment, I'm collecting a new group for 2026 January, so you can join the waitlist by visiting my website right here. I'll be using the same material in this class as I would use in my group classes as well, in my courses. So you'll get a sense of my methodology, you'll get a sense of my material, my approach, and I hope it will be interesting and useful. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's begin with our first lesson. Pirma pamoka. We'll start off with some greetings, some basic ones. There are more, but these are the main ones. Labas. Sveiki. Labas rytas. Laba diena. Labas vakaras. One more time, a bit more natural, a bit faster. Labas. Sveiki. Labas rytas. Laba diena. Labas vakaras. In Lithuanian, we distinguish between formal and informal greetings. So labas is an informal hi. It's more colloquial, more friendly. I would use it with friends, with my peers, or people I feel comfortable with. If I go to some kind of a social situation, maybe I go to the shop and I speak with the cashier, I would use sveiki, just in case. Maybe some people might get offended if I'm speaking very colloquially with them on the first meeting. So labas is more for friends, sveiki is for first encounters. Labas rytas, laba diena, labas vakaras, you can use them anywhere. Just know that labas rytas is used until midday. Laba diena maybe from midday till 4 or 5. And labas vakaras is typically used from, let's say, 5 till midnight. So these were our greetings. Let's go to our farewells. Repeat after me. Viso gero. Viso gero. Viso geriausio. Viso geriausio. Iki. Ate. Iki pasimatymo. Iki pasimatymo. Iki kito karto. Iki kito karto. Sudie. Sudie. Sudie, or the full phrase sudievu, is already quite obsolete. Not many people use this phrase to say goodbye, but some very religious people, or maybe some people in the countryside, for example, my grandma, often still says sudie. But I haven't heard this phrase in a while, so I put it here just so you know it, but it's not very common. Again, iki and ate are informal phrases, whereas viso gero, viso geriausio, iki pasimatymo, iki kito karto are more formal phrases. Iki is also a preposition, so we can make different phrases with this preposition, like iki rytojaus, till tomorrow, or let's say till Monday, iki pirmadienio, iki antradienio, iki trečiadienio. So I can add iki plus the day of the week. And yeah, it's very versatile. Or you can just say iki, just a short phrase as a colloquial informal bye. Here are some other useful phrases. Some of them you might already know. like ačiū, prašom, nėra už ką, atsiprašau, nieko tokio, kaip sekasi, malonu, labai malonu ir malonu susipažinti. Now, I will read the phrases one more time and please follow after me. Ačiū. Prašom. Nėra už ką. Atsiprašau. Nieko tokio. Kaip sekasi? Malonu. Labai malonu. Malonu susipažinti. That's a long one. That's a tough one. When you have tough words like susipažinti, you can split it into syllables. Susipažinti. Susipažinti. Malonu susipažinti. Now, some of these phrases can seem like synonyms, like nieko tokio and nėra už ką, but they're used in slightly different situations. We'll see them in a second. And the question, kaip sekasi, that's a very, very common question that we ask each other all the time. So whenever someone asks you, kaip sekasi, you can reply in one of the following phrases. Puikiai, gerai, neblogai, šiaip sau, prastai, blogai. So they are listed from the best to the worst. We have even a better one, nuostabiai, like wonderfully, but I think these are the main ones. Puikiai, gerai, neblogai, šiaip sau, prastai, blogai. And if you want to give the question back to the person, you can ask o tau or o jums. This again depends on formality. O tau, informal, and you. O jums, formal, and you. Now imagine a circumstance where I'm on a bus and I bump into you accidentally. You turn to me and I tell you, atsiprašau, I'm sorry. If you're a kind person and you're not offended, you will probably say nieko tokio, or just the word nieko, like nothing, no worries. So once again, atsiprašau, nieko tokio. So nieko tokio is mainly used in more negative circumstances where someone says, I'm sorry to you. Whereas if someone says, thank you, ačiū, you can reply with nėra už ką or prašom. So maybe your wallet fell and I took the wallet and gave it back to you and you say ačiū. I can reply nėra už ką or prašom, a positive situation. So yeah, if you have time, I always suggest to write down the phrases. So pause the video and please note these phrases down. Once you're ready, we'll continue. The next topic is grammatical gender. So we're getting into grammar. So we have two genders in the Lithuanian language. We have masculine and feminine. So all nouns in the language are either masculine or feminine. There are no nouns in between. So in English, we have the preposition it, right? And he, she, we only use for, people or animals. In Lithuanian, anything could be masculine or feminine. So for example, if I take the word kėdė, kėdė is a chair, ending with a feminine ending e. So a chair, kėdė, is feminine, whereas stalas, a table, ending with us, stalas, will be masculine. So beware of that. If you're a Spanish speaker, I guess that's not a problem. But if you're an English or a German speaker, you'll have to get used to everything having genders. So the main feminine endings are a and e, like in the words mokytoja, mokinė, right? Teacher, student. And there's this is with an asterisk. So sometimes is endings are also feminine, but you have to know this by heart, right? There's no way to know that pilis is feminine without actually knowing that pilis is feminine. For this reason, I'll put an asterisk so you can actually know that there's some difference here. So let's say that there's 10% of nouns that are is feminine, whereas the rest of them, 90%, are is masculine, like in the word brolis. So if there's no asterisk, it means the is masculine. And the masculine endings are us, is, us, ua, like in the words mokytojas, brolis, mokinys, medus, ruduo. So my profession is mokytojas. Aš esu mokytojas. I'm a teacher. But my girlfriend would say aš esu mokytoja. She's also a teacher, but she would use the feminine variation of the profession. Now, you're a student because you're watching this video, so you're either mokinys if you're male or mokine if you're female. So this is another pair, mokinys, mokine. The word brolis, we already said, that's brother, and the word pilis, that's castle. But again, there are some exceptions, so I always will let you know if there is one. Medus is honey. It has a us ending, so honey in Lithuanian is masculine, and ruduo, the word for autumn or fall, is also masculine. So there's only one exception, sesuo. Sesuo is ua, right? Ending ua, but sesuo means sister. All other words will be masculine. So let's practice a little bit. Let's play a game where you'll have to guess the gender. So stalas. What about this noun ending with us? Masculine or feminine? What do you think? Look at all of them and make some notes. And then I'll quickly run through which is which. You can pause the video to do that. Stalas. Stalas has an AS ending, therefore it is a masculine noun. Katė, feminine. Šuo, ua, masculine. Kambarys, is, also masculine. Automobilis, is without an asterisk, therefore masculine. Stotelė, feminine. Duona, feminine. Vanduo, ua, like šuo or ruduo, masculine. Traukinys, like kambarys, is, also masculine. Cukrus, like medus, masculine. And stotis is with an asterisk, like pilis, feminine. So I hope you kind of get the feeling of when we have which ending. And again, you just have to memorize them. Once you do, things will become much easier. Also, has one exception. That's the word dede. Dede means uncle. So this dede, is actually masculine. And the word kolega, we have the word kolega, although we use bendradarbis more often. But if we use the international kolega, even though it's a ending, kolega is masculine. Kolegė, is feminine. Kolega, kolege. All right, let's go to the pronouns. So we have 8 main subject pronouns, just to show what is the subject in the sentence. Aš, tu, jis, ji, mes, jūs, jie, jos. Aš, the first person singular. Tu, the second person singular. You, also informal. So if I'm addressing you as tu, I'm speaking informally with you. Jis, ji, that's the third person singular, both. Mes, first person plural. Jūs, second person plural, also formal. So I can be speaking to a group of people saying jūs, or I can be speaking to only one person, but using jūs to express formality, right? Instead of tu, I might use jūs. And then we have jie and jos, the third person plural. So the one English pronoun they is replaced by tu. So jos is strictly feminine, right? So I can have 5 objects And if all of them are in the feminine gender, that's fine. I will use jos instead. But if I have feminine objects, 5 feminine objects, and I have at least one masculine, I will default back to yeah. So yeah is they masculine or mixed gender. Jos is strictly they feminine. And now let's look at some conjugations of the first verb that you're going to learn, that is būti, to be. Aš esu, tu esi, jis yra, ji yra, mes esame, jūs esate, jie yra, jos yra. So if you pay close attention to the third person singular, jis ji, and the third person plural, jie jos, you'll see that all of them have the same conjugation. Jis, ji, jie, jos, yra. That's a rule in Lithuanian, that always these 4 pronouns will have the same conjugation, no matter the verb, no matter the tense. It could be future, it could be past, it could be another verb. They are always the same. So jis, ji, jie, jos, yra. Let's go back to gender. So we have different nationalities in different gender. So Hispanas is a male person from Spain, and Hispana is a female person from Spain. So if I want to say, for example, I'm male and I want to list different male nationalities, that would be Hispanas, Anglas, Turkas, Vokietis, Amerikietis, Baltarusis, Olandas, Lenkas, Ukrainietis. But if I want to list feminine nationalities, it will have an ending e. That will be uniform. So in all different nationalities, we'll have the ending e if it's a feminine nationality. Ispanė, Anglė, Turkė, Vokietė, Amerikietė, Baltarusė, Olandė, Lenkė, Ukrainietė. So we have us or is if it's a masculine, like masculine nationality, Turkas, Vokietis, but the same e in the feminine, Turkė, Vokietė. So my nationality is not here. I would say aš esu lietuvis. My girlfriend would say aš esu lietuvė, right? Can you find your nationality? If yes, please add the sentence in the comments. I'd be curious to know where you're from, what is your nationality. If the nationality is not on the list, please add us or is, or e if you're female, or just try Google translating, we'll see, and I'll be curious to know where you are from. So aš esu lietuvis, o kas tu esi? Kokia tavo tautybė? Tautybė, nationality. Let's run through the negative version, not to be, nebūti. Aš nesu, tu nesi, jis nėra, ji nėra, mes nesame, jūs nesate, jie nėra, jos nėra. Again, jis, ji, jie, jos, same conjugation. Nėra. Let's see some professions. Again, masculine and feminine variations. So we have mokytojas, mokytoja, a teacher. Inžinierius, inžinierė, or inžinierius, inžinierė, an engineer. Buhalteris, buhalterė, an accountant. Teisininkas, teisininkė, a lawyer. Stewardess, stewardessė, a flight attendant. Padavėjas, padavėja, waiter, waitress. Studentas, studentė, a student. In higher education, mokinys, mokinė is a student, not in higher education. It can be a person going to the school, or maybe an adult, but learning informally, not in the university. So if you're learning Lithuanian with me right now, you would be mokinys, mokinė. But if you're learning something in the uni or in a college, you would be studentas, studentė. Atletas, atletė, athlete. Vadybininkas, vadybininkė, a manager, that's a long word, right? Again, you can split it into syllables. Vadybininkas, vadybininkas, vadybininkė, vadybininkė. Makes everything easier. Don't be afraid to do that. It's not anything embarrassing. It just helps you get the pronunciation down. So, again, no worries. And the last profession, the last pair is verslininkas, verslininkė, a business person. So, businessman, businesswoman. Verslininkas, verslininkė. Again, verslininkas, verslininkas, verslininkė, verslininkė. So let me tell you my profession, and then let me add a profession that I'm not. So for example, aš esu mokytojas, aš nesu teisininkas. I'm a teacher, I'm not a lawyer. What about you? Is your profession on the list? Please tell me your profession, and please select a random profession that you are not. And also, if you wish, put it in the comments. I'd be glad to know where you're from and what is your profession, and it's some additional practice for you. Now, moving to questions, yes or no questions, it's super easy in Lithuanian. You just have to add the question word ar in front of the statement. So you can take any statement and add ar to make it yes or no. In English, we have dozens of auxiliary verbs. So for example, do, does, would, will, may, might, can, MRS, was, were, should, and so forth. Like you have so many yes or no question words. In Lithuanian, you can just add ar and that's it. And you don't even need to change the word order. So, ji yra Italė, she is Italian. Just add ar in front and you have a question. Ar ji yra Italė? So in English, she is Italian would change into is she Italian, right? You'd make an inversion. She is she. You don't have to do that in Lithuanian. Just take the statement, add ar in front, and you're golden. You're good. The question is there. Another example, tu esi mokytojas. You are a teacher. The question, ar tu esi mokytojas? Are you a teacher? So let's practice a little bit with a few different phrases. Jis yra Paulius. How would we ask a question? The statement reads, he is Paulius. How can we ask, is he Paulius? Just add ar in front. Ar jis yra Paulius? Is he Paulius? That's it. Jūs esate mokiniai. You are students. How about the question? Are you students? That's right. Ar jūs esate mokiniai? Šiandien yra pirmadienis. Today is Monday. How could we ask, is it Monday today? No need to change the word order. Just add ar in the beginning. Ar šiandien yra pirmadienis? And the last one, tu kalbi angliškai ir lietuviškai. You speak English and Lithuanian. How about the question? Ar tu kalbi angliškai ir lietuviškai? That's it. Do you speak English and Lithuanian? So yes or no questions are very easy. You just have to remember the magic word ar, and you're good. And here are some other useful questions that you might have to know in the beginning. For example, koks tavo vardas or koks jūsų vardas. Again, there's a difference in formality. Tavo vardas, your name, informal. Jūsų vardas, your name, formal. Same applies for the question kokia tavo pavardė and kokia jūsų pavardė. Tavo pavardė informal, jūsų pavardė formal. Now, we have different question words here, koks and kokia. We have different question words because we have a different object. Vardas is, again, masculine. Pavardė is feminine. So what we actually ask in Lithuanian is we don't ask what is your name, we ask which is your name. And depending on the gender, of, for example, the noun, which is your name, which is your surname, we might have different question words in different gender as well. Koks, kokia. If it's a very broad question like who are you, we can ask formally, kas jūs esate, or informally, kas tu esi. So this is a very broad question. It's about nothing specific. So it might be about your profession, about your surname, about your name, nationality. You can answer in different ways. So kas tu esi, kas jūs esate, very broad. So practice these questions, put them down as well. And you can tell me your name, you can tell me your surname. If you want, you can add your profession and your nationality. And yeah, I will know my audience a little bit better. That would be super fun. So feel free to add that into the comments. And ar turite klausimų? If you have some questions, feel free to message me, right? You can write a comment, you can send me a letter. I'll try to help you out and respond to you. And you can always connect with me through my email, paulius@lithuanianwithpaulius.com. That's again Paulius, my name, @lithuanianwithpaulius.com. So if there are no questions, ačiū ir iki pasimatymo kitą kartą. Thank you, and until we meet next time. Sėkmės. Best of luck.